We're here at HAP, Huis vir Afrikaanse Poesie, and I am with Ntsiki Mokhoto, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. I am exercising my very Afrikaans tongue to get everybody's names correctly. So Ntsiki is another veteran in both politics and the DA, and has quite a big footprint in politics in South Africa. But I'm going to hand over to her and let her tell her story from her point of view. Ntsiki, how did you get to sitting on this couch today?
Okay. Jacqui, as a South African child, I think there is no one who says she doesn't know politics, she doesn't live politics. I'm sitting on this couch today is because I lived politics. From the day I was born till today, I've been living politics. I was born from a Xhosa mother and a Sotho father who were staying right here in Pretoria, where I was born, at Eastwood, where it is called Garsfontein today. We moved to Mamelodi in the late 60s. I started schooling there. Then my primary schools were in Mamelodi, but I went to KwaNdebele for a high school. That's where I developed. That's where I was nurtured as a high school young girl. Yeah. Then in 1976, when the uprising erupted, I was already in high school. In my standard 8, I think, I was matured. I understood everything. I went along with all the kids who were doing whatever that was happening, and we understood exactly what was happening, because it also affected us too. I was among those who were affected. At standard 8, that was Form 3 at the time, we were forced to do arithmetic and maths in Afrikaans. Wiskunde, rekenkunde, and it was not easy for us because we did not know the language. We did not understand the language. Most of the words just came, and you had to know the words, you had to understand the words. And most unfortunately, again, Jacqui, is because we were taught by black teachers. Teachers who did not even understand the language too. So they taught us, but you know, they did it because they had to do it. It was not easy for them. So imagine a teacher teaching you something that he doesn't understand. You as a learner, what is it that you're going to grab there? What is it that you're going to understand? Then it started in Soweto. It was in our minds at all times, but it started in Soweto. It followed from place to place until it reached us. I was in KwaNdebele at that time. We did exactly what happened in Soweto. There were no telephones at that time, but we used to stick onto our radios. We had radios that we listened to every day. We did not miss news from radios now.
Yeah.
We did not miss that. We wanted to hear, we wanted to know what was happening. And we will follow and do the same. It was not bad, but we did not see anything anything wrong with doing that. It was happening in our time, and we had to do it.
You had to stand up.
Yeah, we had to do it.
And your mother was also part of the march through the union buildings.
Yeah. My mom, at that time, he was also in Eastwood. Yes, he was also in. It was before they moved to Mamelodi, because we moved to Mamelodi very late 1956. Okay, she was part of that march. She used to tell us of how it happened. I remember when she spoke about it, she used to cry and be very angry.
Sure.
Yeah. She told us the stories. We knew the stories from as young as 6, that this was happening and this happened.
So you never wavered to stand up when standing up had to be done. And in the same way, you were also one of the first people in Mamelodi to wear a DA t-shirt and to be part of the DA.
It happened automatically at that time. And with the DA also, it just happened.
What?
Because of frustrations.
Yes.
Because of frustrations.
And you've told me previously that you used to read up a lot on the DA, and this is it seems as an integral part throughout your entire story, is that although you were one of the first to stand up and to join the fight for what is right, it never happened on a whim. This was never for you an impulsive decision. It was decisions based on
what was
research,
happening. Yes.
And you really applied your mind before doing these things.
Jacqui, it was in 2009, 2008, 2009, when I made a very big decision in my life to make a change. And I was the only one in my family who decided that at that time. And when I told them, they were mad at me. But I went on. I did not know what to do, because at that time I decided, okay, Ntsiki, you don't have a political home. You are on your own. And elections are coming. What are you going to do? How are you going to vote this time? And one day after school, when I came back from work, I got a newspaper, a DA newspaper in my post box called Kasi News. I think that helped me a lot. That helped me to make a big decision that I made today. I went through that newspaper, I read it, and I read it. Jacqui, I had that newspaper for over 6 months, reading it, same stories every day, until I made a decision to say, no, you know what? This is going to be my political home from now on.
And you were quite vocal about this. I mean, when I joined the DA in 2009, and we used to go into Mamelodi and into various areas, if we saw people wearing a DA shirt, they often had other shirt over it. And then when they saw us, they would open it up and just peek it a little bit.
Yes.
But you were different. You wore your shirt with the biggest pride ever. And people knew where you were living.
Yeah.
And they used to come to your house.
Yes.
And how wasn't it scary at the time? And what made you stand so steadfast and stand in that belief, even though it might have been a threatening situation?
Jacqui, I made a decision, and I was not going back. That's what I told myself. Yes, they did come to say, hey, Wena, are you mad? What's happening with you? You are bringing Maburu into our location. I said, guys, I have a right to move. I have a right of movement. I have a right of association. I can go wherever I want to go. I've made a decision. You have messed up. And I'm not gonna sit here and debate with you. I'm taking my route now. Then I took my route. It was not easy. Yes, it was difficult.
Yes.
Because wherever you go, they will keep on reminding you that you are not white, you are black. Remember that you are not white, you are black. I will always look at myself and say, Ntsiki, yes, you are black, but you have to move. You have to write. You have to do what is right for you. You have to do what you think is right for you. Then, Jacqui, I did it. I did it. There are people who saw me wearing a DA t-shirt who would come to my place and say, Ntsiki, but tell us about this t-shirt of yours. We also want that t-shirt. I took them along until we were a very long queue of DA t-shirts.
Yes.
I took them along. Yes, I took them along with me until we were a very long, until we were 96 in a bus, until we had 2 buses to fill, 3 buses to fill. And we were so many, Jacqui, that, it was like we shook something that was still, that did not want to shake.
And that's how you're making your mark to move South Africa forward. You said earlier on that your family wasn't very impressed with your decision to join the DA.
They were not.
And today, has that changed?
By the time the queue was about 92 people, they were all on board.
Okay.
They were all on board.
So you changed them.
Yeah.
And so your relationship with them is still good?
It's still okay, and
That's
they're
good.
supportive.
That's
Yeah.
very, very good. Because I think as a woman, and I mean we are in Women's Month, but I think as a woman although we want to change the world, and we do change the world as you are evidently doing, family stays something very important to us. And having our family close and dear, that does stay a very important thing to us. And so, are you close with your family?
Very close.
Okay.
Actually, I'm the favorite of my family. Very close.
I'm very glad to hear that.
I'm the most loving person in my family.
And were they proud of you when you became the MMC for Social Development in 2016?
They were very proud. They were very proud, and they were, they kept asking questions, actually. Are you going to be able to do this? Is it not difficult? I said, it is difficult, but I must do it.
Yes.
I must do it. Yes. And I did it.
And you did,
yes.
And
I did it.
And so and I think this is something for majority of South Africans, but for you specifically in your story, the social impact that your younger years had on you was a lot of what shaped you.
Yes.
So to then be in that position to have a social impact on other people's lives, was there obstacles that you had to push out of the way to make a change in others' lives in Tshwane?
Before I became a councillor.
No, when you were MMC.
When I was MMC, when you're on that seat, Jacqui, is then that you realize how people live, because now you get into spaces where you were not getting.
Yes.
You come into contact with people that you have not met before, that you did not know. More especially as an MMC for social development. Oh God. I had to I had to become a mother to a lot of them. Because you came across problems where you had to change people's lives, where you get people who have given up in life. You have to bring them back. I remember I had 2 cases of adults actually who were left in houses by parents who were unemployed, who turned, into people who did not care anymore. They were left in the houses by parents. They did not have lights, unemployed. They did not pay rent for almost 20 years. So their houses were without electricity. Inside the houses, Jacqui, you would not stand the situation. And I was made aware by one of our activists, Peter Bukaba, who said, MMC, please come visit these homes. These people are in trouble. They don't, it's like they don't live anymore. It's like they're dead. I went there, Jacqui, then went back to my office. I went to the social worker's office. I went to the RED. I visited so many offices, the electricity department, accounts department. I tried, and at the end, their problems were fixed, those people. I remember one year, 2017 Mandela Day. 2017 Mandela Day. I took the whole of Tshwane there to go and clean those houses. The whole Region 6 was in those two houses, cleaning the houses. We had sponsors from Mamelodi Sundowns. We had sponsors from the local businesses that I visited, that I requested help from. They went there to see the situation. You won't believe me when I tell you that there were furniture shops there to come and drop furnitures, beds, linens, food, groceries, fridges. I remember there was food, meat and all that. And one businessman in Mamelodi came into the house and said, but where are we going to put this meat? There's no fridge. Then he left. He came back with a new fridge for those people.
Oh my.
When we left those houses, they were finished.
Sure.
There was food, there was electricity, and their accounts were settled.
So, I mean, you came into politics because you answered a call of what felt right to you.
Yeah.
While you were in politics, you realized that it's not about, only finding a political home, but it's also about changing lives and about changing people's lives.
Yes.
You then decided that you think you've done your dues and you are going to retire. And all of us were very much with our moed en our skoene. And then what made you then decide that this is not the end of the road for you?
Jacqui, I thought I've done enough. I thought I've done enough. But the people out there, they're saying, no, Ntsiki, you have not done enough. There is still so much to be done. Please don't go anywhere. Then I made a promise. I said, okay, guys, I'll come back to the list again. Don't worry. Time will come for me to apply. Then I'll do that.
Oh, and I think that this is probably coming full circle of doing something for yourself, and then realizing life is not about yourself, and now answering the call for the greater good and developing into a whole society and a whole human being. I just have to say that from my side, I'm very glad we're not losing you. I'm very glad that you are going to come back into the future and still do one more, or maybe more than one more innings for the DA, because somebody like you who rise to the occasion and rise to the call is what we need more of in South Africa. And like when you went to the uprisings, nobody told you to go. It was a call you had in your heart, and it's who you are, and it's what you wanted to do. So I'm very glad to know that that you'll be around for some more time in the future.
Forever, Jacqui.
And thank you very much for sitting here today and having a chat and sharing your story here at HUP in Capital Park.
Thank you so much, Jacqui, and thank you, and I'm so sorry for becoming emotional.
Oh.
You know, some of the things that when you speak about them, you know, you see them right there in front of you.
It's also a strength of ours as a woman to be emotional, and I'm glad that you're sitting here and you're allowing that part of yourself to come out.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.